Hey, welcome to Bitfumes. I'm your host Sarthak, and this video is about really amazing Vuetify framework. So, Vuetify is a material framework for Vue.js. It's really powerful and it can reduce your designing time to half. I can say that this is true because we are going to design this whole amazing Vuetify designs in just 1.5 hours. So you can see it's having a nice little carousel. We don't have to define it, they have the carousel, just add it and you are done. Then we have this link to get the home, we have this link to the login page, and there is a transition. If you can see, there is a fading transition for the page changes. That's really powerful inside this Vuetify. You don't have to worry about learning transition with the Vue.js because it's inbuilt inside of the Vue.js and it's super easy to use. Then we have this icon, we have this badge on this icon, and you can see whenever I click here, there is a nice little transition for opening of all these messages for the notifications, and all these messages are having different icon with the different color, and this is coming from the Vuetify material design frameworks. So material design icon we are using here for these kind of icon, and the best part is it's a dark theme. But if you are a fan of light theme, I don't know if you are or not, then you can use this button, and we are doing this with the help of Vuetify hooks, which is called use theme, which is able to change the theme from anywhere of your project, from anywhere on your application. That's powerful. But here we have a very little nice login page. This login page include email, password, remember me, submit button, and register button. All these designs we have done very easily with the global configuration in our Vuetify. Yes, we can define everything on the global configuration. So here you can see this email field is required. So just by moving out of that field without typing anything, it says that hey, required field is there, and this design also coming from the Vuetify. So if I submit, you can see it says that you need to pass these things. So I say, hey, okay, I will pass this to here and password, and you can see it's a nice icon there on these two fields, and I can check remember me and click on submit. There is an overlay, and at the center there is a nice you can say circular progress bar, which is indicating to the user that something is happening there inside your application, and finally it's submitted. So right now I'm just showing the alert button because this tutorial is not about backend, is just about the designing. So we have done this with the help of Vuetify. I really like how it just have overlay of the screen and then have a nice little circular progress bar. All these things, yes, all of these things, whatever you see here is coming because of the Vuetify. So let's start this amazing video. But before moving forward, I can tell you that if you have not yet subscribed to Bitfumes YouTube channel, this is the time, because this is the time you can subscribe and just motivate me to create more amazing videos, because you know the subscription rate on Bitfumes YouTube channel is very low, but I want to increase it. And that can only possible if you, yes, you can help me by hitting subscribe button. If you have already done, then find your friends and tell them that hey, just subscribe to Bitfumes YouTube channel, because this is the guy who is creating amazing videos on the YouTube. Okay, so now time to start or get your hand dirty with Vuetify. To get started with Vuetify, first we need to visit vuetifyjs.com and then click on this get started. So there are many ways to get started with Vuetify, and the most common is using yarn create or npm create Vuetify command. This is actually going to create a Vue.js project and install the Vuetify by default. But this approach is not good for learning, especially if you want to use this Vuetify in your existing project of Vue.js. So before moving forward, I can tell you that Vuetify is on version 3, so it's a Vuetify 3. If you want to go to Vuetify 2, you can visit this. This means since it's a Vuetify 3, it's based on the Vue.js 3. So choose the version of Vuetify according to your Vue.js version. So what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to start with a Vue.js project and then see how we can set up the Vuetify in an existing Vue.js application. So to get started with Vue.js, I need to just search for Vue.js and then say get started, and actually I need to do quick start, and now npm create Vue latest. So I can use that. So first of all, I can open the terminal, I can go to the desktop, and I can say make directory, or I don't want to make directory because this command will going to create a new directory for me. So it says that you want to create Vue package. Yes. So what is the package name? So it's Vuetify. Do you need TypeScript? Yes, I need. JSX support? No. Router? Yes, router is important. Pinia? No. You need Vitest? Not right now. Any other end-to-end solution? No. ESLint? Right now I say no, and you can see it says everything is done. So just go into Vuetify project and open this with VS Code. Now since this is opened with VS Code, we just need to say npm install and then run the npm run dev. While this is doing all these things, I can tell you that Vue.js is now using Vite. Vite is a package manager, but it's more than that. It is a revolutionary thing which is extremely fast, and you can define a lot of amazing things in the Vite configuration. And that's why when you open the package.json, the dev command is just Vite. Okay, so you can see npm install is done, and now I say npm run dev to get a start with my Vue.js application. So my Vue.js is there, but how this Vue.js will connect to Vuetify? So the first thing you need to do, obviously inside the getting started with Vuetify section, you need to go and you need to add Vuetify. So I can use the npm command. So I say, first of all, let's get init and get learn Vuetify, that's good. And now whatever I do, I can track. So npm install Vuetify. So Vuetify like this. Okay, so this is good, and it's going to install the Vuetify, and once Vuetify is there, it will be available in our package.json, which is right here. Good. So we already have the Vuetify. Now we need to configure Vuetify to our Vue.js application. So first of all, we need all these three things: Vuetify style, create Vuetify, everything component from Vuetify, and directive, and then Vuetify, and then say that app can use the Vuetify. So copy that. Oops. Yeah. Go here, open the source, and inside the main, you can see here, I can just say, hey, all these things are here, but app can also use Vuetify, which we have just given here. Okay, so that's done. And now what if I just restart my dev server and see, there is no issue, even no problem with the console. That means we can now get started with Vuetify. But you can see right now we have a home page of Vue.js. How we can remove that? For that, we need to first understand the directory structure and then move forward in the Vuetify. But before moving forward, I can just see that if I miss anything. Okay, so I have not missed anything. I can now start understanding the file structure and go into deeper. So first, to understand this directory structure of Vue.js, you need to understand from where this page is coming. I generally start with any text we have and start to search here on the VS Code. and it says it is from the app.view. So let's try to change it and see if it is reflecting on our home page. And yes, it's reflecting. That means it is good. We are going to start with this app.view, which is actually available inside the source directory. So here we have the source directory, but from where this app.view get triggered, everything starts from main.ts. So if I open the main.ts, you can see in this main.ts, we are actually importing this app, which is app.view. And then we are creating a new instance of view, and we have already added in the last section for this Viewdify, and finally mounted this app on a div with the ID of app. But where this div is available? Inside this index.html. So here you can see this div is there, which is having this ID of app. Now this is the page which is rendering this. So you can see white app, it's written at the top. So I can say white app with themes, and eventually you can see we are having this as in the title. So this is how it gets started. But what about all other things, and what this app.view include? It include all these things, but the important things to notice here is this router view. So just keeping this router view, and I'm going to remove each and everything written here. Okay, once I do that, I can also remove any styling we have, because we don't need any styling. And just by removing that, you can see we are left with this only thing. So there has to be some place where this is available. So let's go and check. Okay, so welcome to view. But how that worked? When I have this router view, then this is going to load the routes. So if I just comment it and see that it's just a blank page, and that blank page is coming because of this CSS files we are having here. So what we can do, we can remove these CSS files also. So we have removed the CSS files. This means I can remove that from my main.ts files also. In that case, we get the white blank page. Now I can give a div with say hello world, and yeah, we have this. But since we are on the Vue.js, it's going to be having a router based approach. So we can get the router back from this, and I need to do something like this and then import so that it will be added. And this is actually going to add, since we have removed every styling, you can see there is no styling. So this is going to add whatever router says. Now all these things will be handled by router. This router view will be replaced by the page or the component we defined in the router based on the query parameter or based on the URL basically. So where is the router? Here's the router index.ts file. This index.ts file is saying that when you visit the home page, then it's going to load the home view. When you go to the about page, it will load the about page. So let's go to /about. This is an about page. Wow, that's so easy. So where is this home view? So home view is inside this views. So we have this home view where we have this welcome. Remember, we search for document and we got this component called welcome. So we have that. Now, since we understand how view works, basically it worked from the router. I'm going to keep this about view and the home view, but I'm going to remove this welcome and change it with hello Viewdify. Okay, so now we should have hello Viewdify here. Great. And now from the component, I'm going to clean it up. So I'm going to simply remove everything we have inside this component. That's good. So we get the knowledge of how Vue.js app is set up, what is the purpose of each and every file, how we can get it started, which is from main.ts. Then we land into app.view. Every page on this will handled by a router. Whatever route we define which component we want to load. all these pages component or view component is inside this views, and sub component will be inside this components directory. Okay, so that's enough tour for the file section or exploring the file structure. Let's now really do something with the Vuetify. Now, to get started with Vuetify, we can go here on this, and you can see on the left section we have a lot of drop downs. One is the feature where you can define a lot of amazing things. But before going into the feature, let's directly land into the components, because here components is all we need. What I want to have a simple nav bar. Is there any nav bar here? So I can just zoom it up and scroll about the nav bar. So there is no nav bar, but there is a toolbar. So this toolbar is really useful. So we can use this toolbar to have it on our application. There are variations given here, and I would like to use the simplest one, which is this one. So let's see how it is used. So it is used, and I can copy entire template from here, go to our home view, and then I can replace everything. So it seems like everything is done. Let's see if we are having any toolbar just like this or not. If I go, I can see something is there. Title is there. I can zoom out. So title is there, but we don't have that black color. We have some grayish type thing here. So let's try to explore what it says. It says gray lighten 4. So this is the color. So I will say darken 4. Wow, this is good. It's a card. So I don't want to have the card right now. So I can remove the card. Now I just have the title or toolbar. Now it says density is compact. What if I'm not providing the compact? Okay, so having width, like large width or height maybe, and if I say compact, it's having less height. Now this is going to be interesting if I do something like this. See, whatever I do here, it's going to be reflected on the right side. Change, and it's very smooth. Now it says it need icon. We can't find any icon. You can see there is no icon, and there is some warning given here. We will talk about this warning soon, but let's first fix the icon. So when you go on the Vuetify, you can go on the getting started, installation, you can search for icon, and here it's given. You need to install material design icons in your project. So maybe I can use, so we need to import like this, import MDI font CSS material design icon.css. So let's try that. So we can open the right side and open the main.ts. Here we can have it, but it will going to say that we don't have this material icon. Yeah, same thing. So how we can add it? So there has to be some place where we can, don't forget to install. To install the material icon, we just need to scroll down, and here we got the npm command. Okay, so let's go and run this command, and very soon we will have all the material icon. And since we have imported like this, we don't have to worry about any other things, and it should give me the icon, which is like this. Wow, that's really nice. Okay, so we get till this point like having a toolbar. So let's go back and see how this toolbar is looking. That's great, but still I am not happy, because you can see if I go, the one I have copied is having white colored with blackish or gray background. It's having very light gray. This could be the color option, but we have not defined any color option here. So that's because we are right now using the dark scheme in our Vuetify website. So if I switch to white background or light theme, you can see it's exactly similar. So we have achieved, or we have added a nice toolbar here. That's great. So instead of this title, I can say Vuetify. Okay, that's good. And now we have 3 icons here. So instead of 3 icons, it would be good if we have a login button. So let's remove everything, and instead of icon, I want button, and we already have this button. So I can remove the button and I can say login. Now you will say, Sarthak, how do you know that you need to remove this icon field from here, and what will be the effect? Because if I add this icon, seems nothing happened. So everything is there in the documentation. If I go here and I can search for buttons, here we see that we have the buttons. In the button, you can see that you can have variations in your button like this. You can also add outline, but you can also make it icon. When I use icon, it will be like a round shaped. So even if I have written log in here, you can see it is having round shaped when I hover over it. So let's go on the button and explore it more. So we can see that if I have any button, how do I get the code for this button? So yeah, if I click here, it should be available. Somewhere it says that it's available. View source code. Yeah, so view source code is there. If I zoom it like this, okay, so we got it. Now variation is very important, so let's define the variation. So instead of icon, I say outline. So is it going to work? No. Why? Because we need to add it as a variation. So instead of this, I say variant. Now when I say variation is outlined, you can see it is having outlined kind of things. Okay, if you want to get deeper into any component, this VBTN API is really helpful. So if I go inside VBTN API, then you can see we can define like a lot of other things. We can define it is block, we can define border, we can define color. So let's have a color here. So color is going to be let's say pink, but if I define pink, it's just having the pink, but I want pink darken 4. So that's good. And now I have a very nice little login button, but I want this to be smaller. So there has to be some size thing here. So width is there, and yeah, size is there. So X is small, large. So I can define that, hey, I want to define the size also, and size is X small, extra small, or maybe just have the small one. Yes, it is now becoming smaller. So after this, you can have a lot of other things. Instead of defining text as here, you can define text like this. That's also going to work, which is you can see right now. There are a lot more things you can define, but right now it is very good. But you say that, okay, we have the login button. How we can add a login page? So it's going to be the Vue.js thing, not the you can say Vuetify thing. So I will go here on the router index and add another route, and that route will say path is equal to login, name is equal to login, and the component we will going to have a login view page. Now let's create a login view page. So I say login view.view and add a template, and I say login page. That's good. So if I go here on the /login, yes, we have the login page. And if I go here, I need to now move user from login button to login page. So there is one amazing thing in Vuetify. Vuetify button also can accept the router link. So when we define to, that will take you to another component or another router page of Vue.js. I say, hey, this is going to take me to the login. So now if I go reload this page and click on login, you can see it's now moved to the login page, and you have also seen that it's not just a refreshing page, it's just moving to the new page. And we have not used the router link, which is a basic Vue.js routing. So we can also define, like here we can define to as login, and we can remove the to from here, from the button, and that's also going to work. So if I reload this page, click on login, you can see it's doing that. But that's the power of Vuetify. We don't want to use the router if we are using our Vuetify. Cool. So that's really nice. And now what I want this toolbar to be available in every page. So if I'm on the login page, that also can have the toolbar, so that if I click on this Vuetify, I can get back to my home page. So this Vuetify can be a button or a simple text with the router link as making to the home page. Okay, so that's good. But next I want to make it white. We haven't talked about color. How I know that there is a pink color for the button? How I know that darken 4 is there? Let's explore some colors, and also let's explore how to have a layout system in Vuetify. So to work on the layout system, first you go on the navigation bar and then go to the features. Inside this feature, you can see we have the application layout system. This is absolutely important to have all the components working properly. Now you can see for the application layout, we have various things like VApp bar. It's a container for navigation, branding, search, etc. Then system bar that replaces the phone's layout. Then drawer. Then we have a footer and bottom navigation. So let's choose the footer and VApp bar. So there is example and it's given right here. What you need to do, you need to have the app layout. So what if I use the app layout and see how this is going to reflect? But make sure, since you are creating a layout, you should not use in any simple view. Instead, you need to go inside of your app.view and then have this. So since we are using Vue 3, we don't have to worry about having a single element inside the template. So that's going to work. Okay, so now something is wrong here. What happened? Could not find injected layout. Why that happened? Maybe we have chosen wrong? No. So what happened here is this VApp bar or any layout thing has to be inside this V layout. Is it like that? So let's try V layout and move everything here and see. Yes, it's working. Wow, that's good. But there is one missing thing. See, at the top there is a note here, and this note says that when you are using in your real application, you need to have the V app. Just they have replaced with the V layout to show you here inside the example because of the minimum height of the V app. So now let's convert this V layout to V app, and then it's going to have same system, but this is having the full 100 dvh actually the height. Okay, so this is for the application bar. But what if I just remove the application bar? You can see behind the application bar we have our nav bar. So now it's up to you. Do you want the application bar or you want the nav bar? What you can do, you can go inside home and you can have this toolbar and show some hello home And can we put this inside of the layout? And yeah, looking good, but still we have a border here which is not that good. So either you can use the toolbar or you can use the app bar. It's up to you. So what I'm going to do is, instead of app bar, I'm going to use the toolbar. Great. Now we have the toolbar, everything is good, but then we need the vMain. So what is this vMain is going to do? So remember, we have this vApp bar. When we do the vApp bar, we don't see this hello home for the home view. That is because we need to add the vMain here. And once we add this vMain, you can see hello home is there. This is exactly a simple container which is going to hold all of your pages. Okay, so that's for the vMain, and this is good. And as I told you, we have to have the toolbar. So toolbar is there, vMain, router is there. So that's nice. We can easily switch between home and login page. And then now we need to have a form in the login page so that user can log in. Obviously, we are not going to make any real authentication. It's just a form, how we can handle that. Let's do this in the form section of the Vuetify. So first of all, we need to once again go on the sidebar, the drawer, and then go to the components. In the components, we will find we have a form section. So here we go on the form section, and then we can click on this forms. So when we click on this forms, we have a nice little form which you can see right here. A lot of variations are there. You can choose different kind of variations, and let's now have very simple, and then later on we can style it. So first of all, I'm going to grab all these things, go to our login page. On the login view, I'm going to paste it, and when I paste it, yes, it's there, but it should be having the first name and the last name kind of things. So we can have a script, and this script is going to have a setup method, and here I say const form is equal to ref, which is the ref from our Vue.js, and this should be having a name, not the first name, but just the name, or maybe just email actually, and the password. Okay, that's good. So we have this, and now we say form dot email, and there is no rule for this. This is email, and one more text field which is for the password. Now how we can make it a password field, and right now it says Vue.js missing script tag. Okay, so it says that you need to use the lang and ts because we are right now using TypeScript. So everything is good, and we should see the form, but we have, oh yep, we got the form. So now this password field should label as password. Now there are many ways we can modify and make this look better. First of all, you can see if I go on the left side, the sidebar, we have file input, checkbox, autocomplete, but we also have a text field. So in the text field, we can have various things. We can have the icon also. So you can play around with the text field here. So here is the text field with the outlined, underlined, solo filled, solo inverted. So I like the solo. So what if I just say solo here? Is this going to work? No, I think we need to do in a different way. So we can find out by having it like this, so that it will reveal the code. Sometimes this Vuetify website is not that good. It's not revealing the code. Yeah. So variant is solo. So it's going to have variant as solo, not just solo. So variant as solo, and yeah, this is good. And same variant I want for the email. Wow, that's looking really nice. Now it says that you can also add any icon, so prepend any icon. So how we can prepend any icon? So let's take any example from the example section and we can then use that. So maybe I can search, yeah, so a lot of examples here given. So we just need to say prepend icon and then define any icon. So I say prepend icon MDI mail, it's for the email, but this is prepending icon. I want to have inside of that, which is the third one. So first, second and third, so it's like append icon, not prepend. Okay, so append goes to the right, append inner, or maybe prepend inner, oops, inner, like this. Cool, this is nice. So do we have the email? Yeah, we have the email. Great. So then we have password. No, there's a key. Yeah, we can use that. Now if you really want to find what are the icons you can use, just search for material icon and you will get list of the icon. You can just use the name along with that. So like we have the search, so I can say MDI search web. Oh, so there are some different ways you can use that, and then you can have a nice little form. Cool. So this is good, but still password field has to be with an asterisk. So it's going to be the easy thing. I need to define type as password, and when I type, you can see it's typing. So this is for our text field. So text field is there, and then we always need a remember me or kind of checkbox. So let's have a checkbox here. So go to the checkbox, and obviously it's going to be have different variations. So let's grab any one checkbox, and then we say, hey, this is a checkbox, and form dot remember. So I can add remember as false. So this is good, and we are having it. Now what is the label? Remember me. Great. So you can see very nice little form we have. Now instead of red, we can change some other color when we talk about the colors in Vuetify. Very soon we will talk about. Anyways, so we have a nice little form, we can add it, but let's have some variation in the button. So we have also talked about the button previously, but this time I want to have some coloring in the button. So button should have some colors, but it's bad that it's not giving color here. Anyways, what we can do, we can define the color, and color is going to be, let's say, red darken 3. Cool. So we are having darken 3. So how about darken 1? Looks good. So red darken 1. Now we have the form, and what if we submit this form? So basically when we click on submit, it's a Vue.js thing. So we say submit is going to handled by a submit method we are going to create here. So let's create a submit method, and this is going to just alert us the form like this. Okay, so I say Sarthak at bitfumes.com, password is password, remember me is true, hit it, and you can see we have all the data. So email is this, password is this, remember me is red. What? So remember me is red, that's not good. So let's see, so value is red right now. So what if I remove the value and see what's going to happen? So now it's true, great. And if I just uncheck it, it's false. So remember is false. So this is how you can design a form. But what next? I don't like to have the form touching at the top. I want to have first, it should be at the center, plus there has to be some kind of title that log in here. Actually, we need to learn about the cards in Vuetify, how we can use the card. To have the card, we first need to check out the card descriptions. What are the cards, how we can use it. So first of all, cards can be used with this kind of very nice tag or the component. We can have the title, subtitle, text, like that. There are various things we can use: vcard item, vcard title, subtitle, text, action. So everything is given here, but let's start with this. So first of all, this form should be inside vcard. Okay, so that's good. We are going to have the vcard. Let's see how this is looking. Okay, that's actually filling all the page. I don't want to do that. So for that, what I want to have some grid system, and we will talk about that grid later. But first of all, let's have some padding. So I say padding is equal to 4. So padding all is equal to 4. Yeah, that's good. Now inside this, I need to have a vcard body. Is this a body or content? What's that? We can just see here. So vcard, I think vcard item is there. So instead of this, vcard item, cool. And so inside this vcard item, everything will go. Now we also need the title for this. So then comes vcard title. Title is going to be login here. Okay, let's see how it looks. Good. So that's looking good. Next is what? Next is we have the footer. So in the footer, we can have like go to the register page, kind of that. So it's called vcard action. So, or maybe what we can do, we can put this form inside the vcard footer, but in that case we will lose the power of the form. So we can say vcard action, and here we can say that, hey, go to the register link, and that's good. But instead of this, I need btn, and btn will be like to register, and here I say register, and no router link comes here. Okay, so just like this btn button, we need the block, so it should be block. And you can see some things are outside of the layout of this form and some are inside. So that's happening because of this width is equal to 300 and class mx100. So we can move this to into here, and we can have the class like this, and it should do the work. And in that case, we don't need the vsheet. So great, that's really nice. And I think we need more padding, so we can say, hey, we need padding of 8. That's okay. That's maybe I can have the 4 right now. Later on we can see how we can do that. Next, title, it should be at the center. So I can say, hey, text center, is this going to work? Yes, it's there. Okay, so finally we have various things in the card, but I want to see some example to get inspiration. Now, is there anything? Yeah, we can have a background, a nice little background if you want. Then that thing we can do on the coloring part when we go to the color section of our Vuetify thing. So not much to inspire from. We have a nice little form login here. If you want, you can say underline. I don't know if it is working, so there is no underline class. Anyway, so this is good, and we have done that. And finally we can move to some different part of the Vuetify, but still we can see that submit and register button width are different. Why is that? It is because of I think because of this vcard item. So if I move this and put it just below of the btn submit, yes, you can see both are same width. So we can simply say, hey, margin x of 4. So margin is not working. Margin all. Okay, what about padding all? Hey, so action says, hey, I'm not going to do anything for me. So I can just see how this action works. So anyone which have the action, I can just take the example. So we action is there, but action is going out of the layout always, and vcard is having width of 300, margin auto. So what else remaining? The remaining thing is we can simply say a div, and we can have the div with margin x of 4, and now you can see everything is aligned properly. Cool. So this is completed with our login page. Now what next? Since we understand the login page, what are the fields we have, what are the things we have, we need to just design a little bit more on our home page. Before moving to the home page, I just realized that we can have this form in a better way using the grids. So if I scroll down, and I will find this grid system. So grid system is a very nice way to define the sections in our layout or in our page we can have. So first of all, what I'm going to show you is, what if I have like full width here, and this is like at the center, that's okay, but I want this to be a properly aligned. For that, I'm going to use this kind of system where left and right are going to be empty, and the center will be the only place where we have the login form. Okay, so there are various examples given here. You can play around with that, you can check out each and every one. So we are interested in a layout which should be having like this, but at the center. So for that, we first need to have a v container and then v row. So container is going to hold everything, and then row will make everything inside the row. Okay, so we have this card, but we want this card to be at the inside the container. So how this is going to look? Yes, seems like everything is good, but we can see we have little margin at the top. That's how this container works. So I can show you, if I remove this width of 300 from here, you can see it is having container like this. If I remove the container, you can see it's now filled fully. Great. So let's get back, and here what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the width of 300. We have the container, and now inside the container we can say v row. So inside this we have the v row. Now it's just stringed because it's having only one element. Now inside v row we will going to have the v col, or which is basically v column. So v col comes here, and now if we are not defining, it will take 12. That means full width. But now we need to define that it's going to have only 4. So cols is equal to 4. Now it's having 4, but it's moved to the left. So I can say that, hey, it could be, let's say 5 for now. Yeah, that's good, but I want this to be at the center. So what we can do, we can make this margin auto inside the row, but that's not working. Maybe we can say no gutters. I don't know what this no gutters will do, but basically we can have like justify and center. Yeah, justify center worked, and now it's having at the center. It seems like nothing has changed, but it's now having a properly aligned with our system we have defined here. Now if you want if you don't want to use container, you are free to use that, but then it is little stretched, and in that case you will have to do some other things. Now there is one more thing inside this container, which is called fluid. Now fluid is basically saying that I only want a little margin on the left and the right. So how I can show you that, if I remove this call, you can see this time we just have a very little margin on the right, also on the left. So this is very nice, and you can have this container totally inside your app. So now we have this vmain. Inside this we can have the fluid, and then we can get rid of the container from here, and everything seems really nice. Now let's get back to 4, because that's how a standard size is, and this is very nice looking login form we have made. You can read more about this containers, row and column, and there is vspacer also. So let's talk about the vspacer, but here you can see it's just distorted. So to learn more about the spacer, we already have used it in our app.view when copied the toolbar. So toolbar include this vspacer, but if I just comment it, nothing changed. It seems like everything is fine. That is because we need to add one more thing. So if I add this another title, you can see it's at the center, but if I use this vspacer between here and uncomment it, you can see it's now moved to the right. So basically vspacer just add the space between left and right according to your design, and it's very easy to understand and easy to use. So that's it for the vspacer and the grid system. Now for the home page, I'm going to have a very nice carousel system in the Vuetify page. So it's very easy with the Vuetify because we have the carousel here on our Vuetify. So let's go here somewhere we can find it, and if you can't find, you can just search. So yep, I got it. So here is the carousel. So carousel is just a way of having a sliding images like this. So you can have it like this, and I'm going to use this one because I like this. So I'm going to use this carousel like here and go to the home view like this. Instead of this div, I'll paste this carousel, and now it says you need the items. So I'm going to steal the items from here also. I'm going to steal full script tag, and it should be having a lang of ts, and that's good. That's enough for us. And if I go on the home page, you can see we have a nice little carousel that's looking really cool, and this is how you can make it working. But you can see this is having the container, and remember we added the container on our app.view. So this is the point, we don't want to have the container. So I'm going to once again remove the container from here and add the container only in the login view. So we should have this like here. Cool. Now this is full width, looking absolutely stunning, and wow, that's so easy to have. But let's understand how this is done. So what if we remove this hide delimiters? So if I do that, you can see there is a little icon, kind of a circle, black circle is here, which is indicating how many images we have here inside this carousel. So inside the carousel, vCarousel, we have the vCarousel item. So how many images we have, or instead of images, you can have even the text if you want. And as usual, as with every you can say Vuetify component, you can have the API for that, and then you can use how you can add more features on this carousel. So it says that color and delimiter icon you can provide if you want, disable height interval, and what I am looking is the previous icon and the next icon you can change. Like right now we have this icon, so we can change that. So That's very easy to understand and use the Vuetify. That's why I love the Vuetify. Okay, so that's for our homepage. But what next? Vuetify has tons of amazing and crazy feature. Let's move to the real amazing thing in Vuetify. Now, as I told you, it's going to have really fun with Vuetify 3, because now with Vuetify 3 we have a crazy amazing animation or transition effects available. So you can have different kind of transitions. So you can see like this card expanding or closing, like that. You can have this fab transition, fade transition on the X side, Y side, like that. A lot of amazing things we have. But what I want to have the transition here is going to be like, if I change the page, I want a really nice transition to have. So let's start with V expand transition. So I'm going to use that inside my app.view, and above this router view I say V expand transition and move this router view inside it. Now see the magic. So if I just move to the Vuetify, and you can see it's just moving from up to down like that. Okay, now once again, just like every component, we have some styles. So it's like we can provide the mode which is defaulted to, which is default. I just want out in. So let's say out in, and how this works. Okay, seems like similar, but you can play around that. Let's try something different. This time I'm going to try fab. So how about this fab? Oh, this is really nice. You can see it's just moving like this. Every time the page change, it just have it. But sometimes it's not that good to have this crazy animations on every page. It's sometimes annoying. So instead of this, a fade is a proper transition for any transition from one page to another page. So I believe this fade transition is really good for your changing of the pages. You can have it for your application. Scale slide is also good. So let's try the slide one, because slide is really nice. So if I go on the slide seems like not working. So is there any slide? So there is slide X actually. So slide X is there. Yes, you can see it's moving from left. So I can show you in the full width. Yeah, so it's very small transition, but it's nice to have this kind of one also. But I like the fade for the transition on the pages, which is really cool. Next one is very important. So whenever we submit the form, you can see it's quickly giving me this pop-up, but I don't want to do that. I want to show some kind of loading which will eventually give me the result or make the user login. So how we can do that? First of all, we need to find a progress bar. So in the components section, we can see that we will have the progress bar somewhere, if I am able to find it. So here we got. So progress circle is there. It's circle, but we want the animated one. So this is very nice, and we can just copy this primary one, go here, and whenever we click on log in, so here, so just at that time, instead of this submit word or the string, I want this circle like this. It should not be the primary color, it should be white colored like this, and it should have a little padding. So I say padding, or make me margin all 1. Sometimes margin doesn't work. Anyways, this looks okay. So what next? We only want this to be happen when we click on submit button. So we also need to have a submit written like this, and we only want to have the submit if we don't have the processing. So let's create a new ref. So is loading is having a ref of false right now. And when I click on submit, then is loading value will become true. And at the same time, I also want a set timeout, which is going to remove this set loading after 3 seconds. So I will say that I want to show this v progress circular when this loading is true. Otherwise, show the submit button. Now this is good. So let's click on submit, and it quickly give me this this alert. But what I want this alert to show once again after 3 seconds. So let's try this once again. Click on submit. 1, 2, and 3. Boom! We have the alert. We have stopped the circular and loading icon. Great! This is really nice. But you know, we can take it to a next level. How? We can just want an overlay kind of thing. What is overlay? So let's search for overlay. So here we have the overlay, and overlay is going to have a dull screen, or you can say grayish screen over your background, and then it will going to have some kind of loading on that. So if you go at the top, launch application, you can see there's a loading and everything will become gray. So how this works? It's very easy. We're still going to use the progress circular, but that's going to be inside of the V overlay. So V overlay will going to hold all the card. So what actually we want to have V overlay somewhere inside the container. So let's say V overlay, and this is going to have that circle or progress bar. Okay, grab that, and now I want to say that this is a submit button, and maybe I can just copy instead of cut. Okay, and inside this V overlay I have it. Now let's see, nothing is there because we need to say V model value here. So colon model value is loading. Okay, now let's make this is loading true for now so that we can see if it is working or not. Cool, this is working. This is on entire page and loading icon is there. That's good because we are having inside the container. If we want, we can cut this overlay and put it inside of the V column. In that case, it should have worked once again, but still it's having it there. So what next we want? We just want to have things at the center. So this class we can add on the overlay like this, and it will make it at the center. In that case, we don't need the loading on the submit button. So let's just have the submit button like this, and loading is here. That's the only thing we have to do. And this means we can just make it false once again. And when I click on submit, you can see there is a loading, and after 3 seconds, we are closing it and we get it, and everything is nice. So this is about the overlay thing on your login page with the progress icon, because this is extremely important to keep user stay updated what is actually happening behind the scene. So this one is really important. Next, I want to have a little icon for notification here. So let's search for material icon, and this time let's use MUI, and here I'm going to search for bell icon. So how about bell icon? So there is a bell icon. Okay, so we have a lot of bell icons, and the one I am looking for is notification. Okay, so let's try it. First of all, I will go on the app view, and here we have the login, and just above the login, let's have VBTN, and inside that we need V icon of which icon we need? Icon of MDI notification. I don't know if it is going to work. So it just not worked. And let's see how they have used this V app icon. No, not that. So let's search for the icons here. Icons, go here, and then we can see the code, icon size, color, and icon. So there has to be, what if I use the domain, which is like this? Okay, so that is there. So it should have worked, but it's not working. Maybe I can see this is the website where I can find the icon used in the material. So click on continue and then search for bell. Okay, so bell alert is there and just bell. Okay, yeah, we got it. Now this has to be the color of, let's say, blue, and darken 4. Okay, that's good, but every bell icon should have a notification, like how many notification it has. So in that case we need to have, we call it badges. Now badges are just a badge above any icon. So we have this badge and we need to wrap this icon with the badges. So we badge and use this, and now I need to say, hey, this is going to have a number. So how we can add the number inside this? So badge content is going to be the 6. So let's say 6 is the icon, the notification number. So that's good, but it's really big. I want the smaller one. So can we do the small as a size? Okay, so it's not given here and it should be here. Color dot. So if I say dot, dot, just make it really a dot, not the icon. So I'm going to have this and see. So size is this, so I can use the size. Okay, so we have the badge, size is X, small. It's not reflecting, that's bad, that's really bad. But finally I can use the icon in the button, so it feels like icon, and the color of this badge will be red darken 2. Now once we have the icon, then whenever we click, we need a drop down for that, so that we will have the list of the notifications. In that case we need the menus. So menus are very nice. So you can see, click and there is a drop down. That's really amazing. So how we can get it? So it's super easy. We first need a activator, like who is the component. When I click on that, then it will open up the menus or the list. So we have this menu, and full menu comes like this, and I'm going to copy it and directly paste it here. Okay, and see what's going to happen. First it says what are the items you need. So I'm going to steal the script and items basically, and here inside this script, const items is equal to like here, hey, ChatGPT was nice on the items. Here I will ask, if I say like this, great. So now instead of items we are going to use the notifications. Okay, so that's good, and let's see how this looks. This looks great and nice. We have it here. Great. So what next? Instead of this activator slot, we want this bell icon to be the activator. So move this button and replace the button with the activator slot, but keep this point that we need to have this vbind of the prop to make this button as the activator. So if I click, it's not working because now we need to say vbind and that going to be the props. Okay, so now click and it should work. So it should be VBIND, not dined or dinned. Yeah, so it's working very nicely. Next, you can see ChatGPT had given me the icon and the color. This is really good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have the color and the icon here. So V icon would be having icon of item.icon, and let's bind it and let's try to see. Looks good. And also let's have a color of item.color and bind it one more time, and you can see very nice little icons with different messages we have. We can also add some kind of transition here. So if you scroll down, you can see we have this transition, and this time we are having the transition as a prop in our menu directly, not using the V scale transition kind of component. So now you can see it's scaling from that icon. You can also have like slide X transition. So it's slide X, but I like that scale transition. Okay, so that's for the scaling. And now what we need to work on some coloring system, some theme system, and then we will close this crash course. So now let's get back to the Vuetify, and this time I will go on the features, and this time I will check out the global configurations. So global configuration are really useful because in that case you don't have to define every time in your component. You define once, and every time you use that component anywhere else, that's going to work just like this. So if I want the button to be always outlined, then I can define it here, and that too inside of the card. Okay, so let's try this and see how this is working. So first of all, we need to go in our main.ts where we are defining this Vuetify, and here we have create Vuetify, and then we have component directives, and then which one we should use. Let's see. So all the buttons we want should be like this. So if I go to the login page, I can see that in the button we are using let's say if I say outlined, that has to be variant. So variant is outlined. Okay, like this. So this one is good. And now let's make this button for register as outlined. So variant is outlined. Okay, that's good. But what if we want this variant outline to be available every component of the button? So VBTN should have variant of outlined. So this will come on the defaults configuration, and it should have all the component, all the button with the outline. This is extremely powerful because now we don't have to define it like, hey, the button should be outlined everywhere. Now what if we don't want this outline? Just like on the submit button, it should be solid. So for that we can go on the components and the buttons. I'll open on a new tab, and then I want to see like what this could be. So there is outline, there is a tonal, there is text, and there is a plain, but I want this to be default. So can we say like variant is going to be default, but I think is not outline, plain, text, elevated. Let's use elevated. Okay, so that's good. It's like elevated one. But all other button where we have not defined the variant, it will take it as the outlined one. So what next? What else we can do? This text fields. So I want this v text field to have a solo variant. So this time we say v text field, once again variant is going to be solo. Okay, in that case, if I remove this, no effect because we have defined it on our global configuration. So this is how you can play with the global configuration and define whatever you want. Even you can define the styles. For that, you can define any default class for your button or for any other component you want. That's going to be crazy powerful thing because you are controlling every component from a single component file. That's powerful thing. Then comes the theme part. Theme is going to have, like, do you want the dark theme or light theme? So let's try the dark theme here. So if I define that theme is going to be dark, and see, eventually it switched to the dark one. That's powerful once again. So you can see I'm really liking this dark way. But this button, the login button, is not that good. So let's go to the app, and here we have this login button. We are defining the color as pink darken. I'm going to remove that, and now it's becoming white outlined one because we have defined the outline for the default button. So I can remove the variant from there, and it should be it should be outlined, but it's not. That's bad. And I think that happened because the global configuration works for everything inside of this v main. So what if I have a vbtn and I say test here and save this file, and actually I need to put it inside any page or view. So let's have this above the carousel on the home page. You can see it is outlined, but not this one because global configuration works for anything inside of our vmain. So let's get back the variant to outlined for our login button at the top, and that should be here on the app, not there. Cool. So we got that. Now with this, we want to have a icon which is going to toggle the dark theme to the light theme, and that we can see we have here in our dark theme variant way. So how we can tackle this, because this is not inside any configuration. So for that, we need to once again go on the Vuetify, and this time I will go on the API section, and you can see now we have various hooks. In this, we can see we have use theme hook. Use theme can be useful when we want to change anything in our theme part. So what we can say, like having a button for changing the theme. So let's go here. At the top we should have another button. So vbtn, inside that it's going to be v icon, and icon is going to mdi of color. I don't know color, what's that? So let's search for light eyes, what that kind of icon could be. So this is the icon for theme, and I can inspect this icon to see which is the real icon here. Oh, that's not good. It's in the SVG format, so I cannot see exactly what name they have used, but I can see that this is kind of a star, this is kind of moon, so I can say moon, and yeah, weather night. Yeah, I got it. So I need a weather night. So how I can use it? Weather night, like that. Okay, so that's the icon. Good. Weather weather night icon is there. Great. So weather night is there. When I click, it should go to the night version, but we also want sun like this. So sun will be having weather sunny. Wow. So in that case, we need some kind of ref for our Vue.js. So const theme is equal to ref, and in this ref right now it's light theme. Okay, so I need to import the ref from the Vue, and then we should say that whenever I click on this icon, so at click I say change theme. So I can say, hey, there is a method called change theme, and now I say if theme dot value is equal to light, then change theme dot value to dark, or vice versa. So instead of this, can we do like true or false? So in that case it would be easy. I say theme dot value is equal to not of theme dot value, and with this we can say that changing of the icon. So icon would be like if theme is true. True means we can change it to, instead of theme I can say dark theme. So initially dark theme is false, so I can say dark theme is there. Then what will be the icon? Then icon will be, if it is a dark, I want to convert it to sunny. Okay, but if it is light, or I can say dark is false, then it will be night. So let's go. Right now I need to change it. You can see it's now changing. Very nice. Along with this, now whenever I change the value of the theme, I also want to really change the theme. So in that case I need to use the theme. So theme is equal to use theme from Vuetify, and then I say theme dot current dot value is equal to, I can say if value is true, dark is dark, then make it dark, otherwise not dark. So default theme is dark. I think we can use the name instead of current. Is it going to work? No, that's not working. So basically we can go here and we need to see how to change. So it should be like global. Okay, so we have the global name. So instead of direct name we can say global dot name dot value, and now see, this should work. Okay, yeah, it's working. Great. So right now it's working, and this you can see doing very nicely. So right now theme is dark. Initially it is dark, so it's dark, and I want to switch it to light. Switch to light just like this. So right now it's dark, and it's right now it become light. So I think this is going to be different in this way. So night comes here, sunny comes here. Great. So right now it's dark, I change it to light. You can keep this theme information in your browser settings, browser local storage or cookies. That can also be valid if you permanently want to make it the theme user has selected. So that's about the global configuration using the hook in the Vuetify. And finally we need to make it responsive, and actually it is really responsive. So you can see it's right now having 4, and here it's looking good with all having full width. If I go on the home page, it have nice little carousel, and we have theme, we have drop down, we have login button which is working with the overlay of this 3 second, and then we get the information. But what we also want here to make sure that user cannot submit this button if this is having any error. So finally, just for the sanity works, I'm going to search for text field, and there is text field for the errors. So I search for error, and there has to be error message. You can see like this at below. We should have that. So maybe I can search for error once again. Yeah, like this, invalid email, like that. So we need to define the rule, and rule will be available for the fields. So go into login, and here we define the rule, rules.required. Now from where the rules will come? Rules come from here. We need to actually define the rule. So that would come here, and let's define the rule. So rule will be like this, and what it says a lot of other things. So maybe I can say const rules is like this. Okay, so it's a TypeScript, so just for suppressing the error I'm going to say any right now, but you can have a proper nice little variations, and it's not counter, it's just required and the email. So if I now go here and if I see, it should work. Something is wrong here on the email. So required. Okay, so it's required. So I say something, no, and now it says required. Now if I try to submit, it's still submitting. So we can prevent this submitting, and we say that if this is empty, then we are not going to submit. So in the submit, we can simply say if form dot value, I can say form dot email dot value is not there, then return. No need to submit this. So that's good. Is it like form dot value dot email? Like that. So it should not submit, but it's submitting. Oh, it's submitting because the submitting logic is the just making the, yeah. So now see, this is not submitting right here. It's submitting. It's submitting because I need to say like, hey, this, if this is empty, so submit. Oh yeah, it's not submitting, and it says that, hey, email field is required. Wow, so amazing things we have done. Now let's just make our password field required, and we are done with this Vuetify. We are done with this Vuetify crash course. So if you like this Vuetify course, just hit like, and don't forget to subscribe to this Bitfim's YouTube channel, and make sure you are sharing this Vuetify course with others. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.